Let's talk about something we all think we understand: mental strength. We're going to really unpack this idea today, and you might be surprised to learn that true, lasting resilience, well, it comes from a place you probably weren't taught to look. So let me just ask you this straight up. When you mess up, what's that voice in your head say? For so many of us, the gut reaction is to be our own harshest critic, right? We're told it builds character, makes you tough. But what if that whole idea is not just wrong, but is actually making you weaker? And this, right here, is the core of what we're talking about. The myth is that beating yourself up is the secret sauce for resilience. But the reality, and the science really backs this up, is the complete opposite. It's self-compassion, being kind to yourself when you fail, that actually builds the mental strength you're looking for. Okay, so here's a quick look at where we're headed. We're going to start by totally redefining what tough means. Then we'll get into what real mental strength is and why it's so important. From there, we'll cover 7 signs of a strong mind. And then the best part, we'll give you a resilience toolkit and your very first step. First things first, we have to redefine what it even means to be tough. And it all starts with that little voice in your head, your self-talk. You see, how you talk to yourself, especially when you've hit a wall, isn't just about feelings. It physically changes your brain's ability to learn and to bounce back. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. On the one hand, when you're hard on yourself, your brain literally goes into threat mode. It gets flooded with the stress hormone cortisol, and that shuts down the parts of your brain that learn. But look at the other side. When you show yourself some compassion, your brain releases oxytocin. That's the hormone for connection and safety. And that feeling of safety, it puts your brain in the perfect state for learning and growth. So now that we have the brain science down, let's build a really clear foundation for this. To get why this shift is so powerful, we need to be on the same page about what these terms actually mean. So let's define a few key concepts. Okay, so mental strength, it's not about just powering through or ignoring your feelings. It's a skill. It's the ability to look at negative thoughts or a tough situation and reframe them so you can keep going. But here's the crucial part. You do it without completely sacrificing your own well-being. And that brings us to resilience. This is that bounce-back factor we're all after. It's your ability to go through really stressful stuff, even trauma, and still function, still maintain your well-being. It's not about avoiding the hits. It's about how well you get back up. And this right here, this is the engine that drives all of it. According to the amazing researcher Dr. Kristen Neff, self-compassion has 3 main ingredients. First is mindfulness, just seeing your struggle for what it is. No drama, no denial. Second is common humanity, remembering that messing up is human. You're not the only one. And third is self-kindness, basically talking to yourself like you talk to a good friend. So why are we talking about all this? What's the big deal? Well, because this isn't just about feeling better mentally. The stakes are actually incredibly high. There is a powerful and often ignored connection between your mind and your body. And the research on this is just, wow, it's startling. Study after study has shown a direct line between having low resilience and a much higher risk of serious physical health problems. We're talking things like heart disease. This is serious stuff. So how does that even happen? Well, it's a chain reaction. When you have low resilience, you're more likely to struggle with things like chronic anxiety or depression. Those conditions keep your body pumped full of stress hormones, which, over time, causes real physical damage. Plus, it can push you toward unhealthy habits, creating this vicious cycle that hurts both your mind and your body. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. What does a mentally strong person actually look like day to day? Let's dive into the 7 key signs of a truly resilient mind. So we're going to look at 7 signs, all pulled from psychological research. And as we go through these, I want you to think about which ones you already have, because you're probably a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. So this table lays out all 7, but let's just highlight a few. Look at number 1. Mentally strong people don't pretend things are different than they are. They face reality. Or number 2, they own their choices, no blaming others. And check out number 6, it's a big one. They balance fact and feeling. Their emotions are valuable data, but they don't let them run the whole show. These aren't superpowers, you know. They are skills that anyone can build. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's great to know the signs of mental strength, but building it is what it's all about. So let's open up the toolkit and look at some proven ways you can start building your mental muscle starting today. You really have to think about this like going to the gym, but for your mind. Consistency is everything. Little daily habits are like your reps. Things like mindfulness, journaling your thoughts, or even just doing small things that push you out of your comfort zone, they all build that mental muscle. And of course, self-compassion and connecting with people are like the protein that fuels all that growth. Now, of all those habits, I want to zoom in on one specific tool. This is your go-to move for when you're in the middle of a tough moment. It's super simple, it's incredibly powerful, and you can do it anywhere. It's called the self-compassion break. It's just 3 simple steps. First, when you feel that wave of stress or frustration, just say to yourself, this is a moment of suffering. You're just acknowledging the feeling. Step 2, you connect with everyone else by saying, suffering is a part of life, or other people feel this way too. You're reminding yourself you're not alone. And finally, step 3, you offer yourself kindness. You can literally place a hand over your heart and say, may I be kind to myself. It sounds simple, but that small act can completely break the cycle of self-criticism. So we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From brain science to practical tools. But it all really boils down to one central idea. Your journey to becoming truly, sustainably stronger doesn't start with being harder on yourself. It starts with a single kind thought. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Self-compassion isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's actually the opposite. It's what creates that safe mental space you need to look at your mistakes honestly, without shame, so you can actually learn from them and have the courage to get back out there and try again. That is real growth. So, I want to leave you with this one question. With everything we've just talked about in mind, what is one kind thing you can do for yourself today? It doesn't have to be big or dramatic, because as we've just learned, sometimes the smallest act of kindness is where real strength begins.